Is that the one?
I'm gonna put it on my tip up.
And now let all your line back.
Bye.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I had things adjusted for the podcast that I did earlier in the week.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's some exciting news right away is we both did a different podcast
It was
over the last week.
Mm-hmm. It was fun.
Yours is out already, so tell people where to find that.
She goes Beyond the 8. So her husband has Beyond the 8 on YouTube for the musky fishing stuff. And then she started a podcast to just bring a bunch of badass women on to talk and see what they enjoy and just to connect more women in the industry. And it was a blast. So she is on Spotify, Apple. I believe that's it. She'll post some little clips on Instagram, but for the most part, it's on there. So go find me. And some other really cool people. So she had Renee Flatland on there, Sarah Kozlowski, our friend, on there, Carolyn. There's a couple others, but yeah, it was a fun one.
And it's pretty fresh like ours, right? I think she started it this year.
Same number of episodes. Yeah, I think I was 7 or 8.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Yeah, I need to actually finish listening to it. So, podcast used to be my thing to listen to because I literally sat on my ass for 12, 14, 16 hours a day. And it was music, podcasts, ebooks, a whole lot of listening to radio, and now my life doesn't really call for it as much.
No, I know. I have to beg you to listen to these podcasts, and you're like, I will when I have time.
Yeah. I'm mostly headphones on and listening to the same audio mix that's probably only a minute long for all day long sometimes. So,
Yeah, but I brag about you a lot on there.
oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, I talk about how amazing you are, so you should probably listen to it.
Yeah, I should probably do that. Mine will be out
Yeah, tell us.
a few weeks, I believe, because Rick, the host, I was on the, 42, Adventure 42, I believe, or 42 Adventure or something.
Is it M42?
Yeah, M42 Adventures. There you go. Thank you. So the host is Rick Trimmer, and they're out of Utah. He's somewhat retired, but he's got a really cool network and group of people. They do a lot of really cool things. So he's kind of all about... He's got a really cool story himself, so just kind of tune in to where... Honestly, I think he said, 2017, he lost everything in the recession. They came and got his vehicles, had to sell his house, literally didn't have a home. To bouncing back, and now he's been involved in, I think he said this is his 13th business.
Wow.
Small circle he still owns, but not actively a part of it, but with the deal that he made selling it, a sawmill, which is super cool, pretty large by the sounds of it, 300 and some employees, I believe, if I remember correctly, and then several other things, but it kind of slapped him in the face of what everything happened, and then having a family that he wants to experience and travel and, live the life that he wants to live, and, put his kids in good positions and stuff, and so he's kind of on this path to set up events and do different things, hunting, fishing. He's got a place up in Alaska that he brings people to. He does, which we have other connections that do their hunt out in Hawaii, their deer hunt. That's kind of with them. So they do 2 weeks of deer hunting, and they shuffle through a couple of groups of people in a camp there. He's got a cool place in Utah that they host events at. His, I want to say his producer and everything there with him, Chase, he's a firearms instructor and stuff, so they do a lot of things like that. A lot of range days and shooting days and stuff that way. But it was a super cool connection actually through Seth and Mel Studley, which we got to know them over the last few years. And he is somehow part of the group. So they have like this online community, which is kind of cool, and different avenues and areas, but more so like family, faith, fitness, finances, stuff like that. And so super cool. And he was kind of gearing up to get ready to go on the road. He's actually, I think, what did he say? He's got something going on down in Costa Rica. I think he's hosting some sort of an event. And I think it's kind of tailored around surfing, if I remember correctly. But we touched on everything. I bragged about you. I bragged about us. Kind of talked about my story of where I was to where I am. Talked a little bit about yours. Just kind of what we're about, what we're into, and I'm excited. I think there'll be some cool opportunities to come of that.
Yeah.
Because like he said, they did a African safari last year and brought a guy with, camera guy, and I've been staying in contact with Chase a little bit, and definitely plan to set something up to go capture some fun for them, and if the stars align, hopefully get on that Hawaii trip.
Yeah. That
So
would be amazing. It sounds like they are focused on a lot of the same things that we are. So it's cool to see you connect with them.
yeah, they were obviously, I mean, they do some in-studio stuff, and then a lot of it's kind of remote, where, I'm here and they're there, obviously, but they've had some pretty good people on there already, and it is relatively fresh. I know they're really hammering out the episodes. I think they do only one a week, but they've only been at it for 8 months or something now.
Okay.
So another one that's pretty new. But I would go check them out. They kind of cover a lot of stuff. There's a lot of outdoors, fitness, relationship type stuff, and I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I think all of a sudden we're pushing like 2 hours, and it's like shit. We got to kind of wrap this up. And there was a couple hiccups along the way. Like, it was kind of my first experience being on this end, and then I wanted to set it up and make it look good. Obviously, being a camera guy, so I wanted to use my camera and the soundboard and stuff, and the mic and that, and just because I knew it was going to be viewed. And then, of course, I get a camera battery that dies halfway through, and kind of a shit show in a sense. But we just rolled with it and had some fun and some really good conversations, and we'll probably do it again. So
That's great.
so I'm looking forward to that.
Same with our podcast. We were like, I kind of felt bad. We did a 7:30 thinking it would be about an hour, and then we're pushing like an hour and a half, over an hour and a half, and we really had to force ourselves to wrap it up. When you get into those good conversations, it's hard to end. We understand.
Yeah, and then I think it's I can see why we don't, and I'm sure it's going to get to a point where I will, of honestly like sitting here and taking notes and stuff while we're recording, because you hit on topics, all of a sudden you kind of just, as you navigate these conversations, you come upon a point of, okay, we should talk about this for a while, but then you still had other things you wanted to touch on, to where it leaves the opportunity for the next episode, the next time you can get on.
Yeah, I should be doing that too, because there's been so many times that I'm like kind of reminiscing about what we talked about in the podcast, and it's like, oh, I really want to talk about that, and then I forget what it was. Here we are.
Yeah, it's a part of it, but we just kind of roll with the punches, and it is very unscripted.
Yeah, but I like it that way.
Yeah, it's just natural, free flowing.
I do think I'd like in the future to have some talking points.
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, I was kind of thinking about that even for this episode, because since the last, I mean, we recapped Nashville, and you don't want to beat a dead horse with that. I mean, sure, we have some more things that we could probably talk about there. Like, we had a really good productive meeting this week with, really good progress and moving in a good direction, with a company that helped them out. But then it's like, we didn't really do much in the last week. We did a little bit of fishing. You went out while I stayed back and edited one day, and it was very uneventful. I mean, yeah, you got out, and the weather was nice. We went out together 2 days ago, right? And we caught some fish and were able to bring a few home. Your dad's doing really well. But other than that, it's like, we haven't really been up to a ton.
No,
I feel like we've been just run and gun for so long that we've kind of eased back a little bit, and I've been actually pretty busy with work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did that tribal fishing camp and put that together, and that turned out great, and the reviews so far are really good. I just hope it gets put out there soon, otherwise I'm going to have to reach out and see if I can just throw it up myself.
Yeah.
Because the people who have viewed it have, like, responded how I was hoping so on it.
Yeah.
But then,
Everyone loved it.
been doing a lot of product photography stuff lately,
Yeah.
which is fun. And
Do you
then,
want to tell us about that company?
yeah, so there's actually a local company here that has a bit of a tackle line of stuff. And it's been out there for a while, and I think he's just been producing product and then just giving it to people to, like, hey, try this out, see what you think, try this out, see what you think. And I understand that's probably a smart way to do things, but he hasn't really made any money yet with the business.
Right.
He's redoing a website and stuff and wanted to get some good professional photos taken, but it is Tylus Fishing.
Like the Tylus hook or something.
So that's the product itself, but I think he's coming out with a pretty wide array of things once he gets running with it and starts actually turning a profit
Well, you
and making
said
some money.
swivels and leaders, hooks.
Yeah, so that's going to be a little bit. His leaders are newer, so he's coming out with some titanium leaders that are actually very, very, very nice.
They look great.
Titanium's very cool and unique within that kind of a niche because it doesn't hold any memory whatsoever, but it is extremely flexible. To the point where, like, you could wrap that leader right around your finger and, like, or like honestly tie it in a knot, basically pull it apart, and, like, it's gonna be right brand new, straight. So really, really nice that way. But the hooks and he's got some, like, little connectors. I'm trying to think what he calls them. They're kind of like a swivel. So just like a quick change to kind of throw a new lure on or something. That you literally don't tie it on to your line.
I was down there like, come on, this thing isn't gonna work. But it's pretty badass.
So
I'm excited to try it.
I'm curious to try it with other lines
Yeah, I think it might.
because I even think of them like little tiny swivels would be nice for fishing maybe in the winter when you're like running and gunning and like the other day, like perch all over, but they're just finicky and they don't want to bite. And it's like you want to keep changing. And, it's like, but retying and retying, or like you have 5-6 different jig pulls laying around. And it's just a mess. It'd be nice to just quick swap out a jig, or obviously in the summer, I mean, when we're fishing smallmouth and walleye, I mean, we're using fluoro for pretty much everything, at least a leader on off of our braid. And then, either a light fluoro or mono for, pan fishing. That I wonder how it would work with that.
Right now, does he say it's for braid?
So I think he just I think I should have the conversation with him and just see, because I do have to take a couple more shots for him. I have to, because the leader's black, and I kind of tried to use that tackle box and stuff for some contrast to it, but they want something just of like basically blank slate of the leader, so I want to throw it on a white background, just so it pops and shows that way. But I think just because there's no, in a sense, memory to using braid, to like that heavy, fluoro, like what I think is when you wrap it around that hook, I think it's going to want to go back around because there's that memory. It just wants to stay what it is. But anyways, using braid, you literally just tie a single knot
In your...
like just a normal knot, just right in the line, cut the tag off so that you just have the knot at the very end of the line, and then there's like a little J hook in the top of your hook, and you literally slide it through the slot, pull it tight to where that knot is going to hook, or is going to catch, and then you wrap the line over once and just away you go.
Yeah, it's
super simple. And I mean, like you said, you were tugging on it and stuff.
I was yanking on that thing. I'm like, this is gonna pull right through.
He's got pictures he sent me and showed me and stuff of people catching like really nice northern on utilizing it. So it's like,
it's not gonna
it's must work. And I suppose putting a little bit of weight on it and stuff, like it's gonna keep that tension and,
Yeah.
I mean, because that's kind of what it's about, is more so, catching that tension and, I mean, I would think I think for me, if I was gonna use it, I would try to have a little bit more added security, maybe make that knot a little bit bigger on the end.
Double?
Maybe would help. I don't know, but I don't
I'll
know.
try it. I'll try it.
Super cool, and I mean, it seems to be the thing. Like, and he's got a patent on it, and honestly, he's going through a little bit of a headache with that because somebody else found him and copied. So there might be a bit of a legal battle already, and he's like not even mass producing it, by the sounds of it. Like, I don't know where he's at in the production stage and stuff that way, but super cool. He's a kind of retired as well. I mean, I know when I talk to him and stuff, like he's a little bit older. I mean, drawing a pension, so kind of just a little passion thing. He loves his fishing and came up with this idea, and it works. So, and then yeah, I got a gun downstairs.
I was just going to say, what did you pick up yesterday?
Yeah, so I got.
Do you know what it is? Did you look at it yet?
It's a fancy caliber, but it's a coyote gun. It's got a thermal on it and stuff, but for local.
You should just let us use it. Just let us
Well,
take some shots. Let's go kill some shit.
If it was his personal gun, he probably would.
Oh, it's not his. I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot. It's a customer's.
Yeah. So I'm gonna shoot a bunch of product photography of that because it's a pretty badass build and it kind of warrants it with the companies that he worked with on it and stuff that way to get some more higher end stuff out there other than, no offense, but just taking some iPhone photos and that. Like he told me yesterday, he's like, I don't have a damn camera. He's like, stuff like this warrants it, but like, do I go invest in all this stuff and then all of a sudden I have to learn how to use it and everything?
Does he just want photos or does he want you to put some video together?
I'm gonna focus on photo, but I'm gonna try to get creative with doing some sort of a reel, I think, on it as well, and just give it to him.
Yeah, I think you should.
Just on top of it, and then because I've been trying to convince him, even when I picked it up yesterday, I had told him because he's like the lighting in here sucks, and we don't have a ton of room, and I'm like, dude, I could get some badass stuff in here. I said, don't worry about that. I have lighting. I can bring extra lights. I said, yeah, well, you'll have to work around something additional, but like, that's not a problem. So I think he said he's got something coming up that he thinks would be the perfect deal for it. So I'll definitely stay in touch with him, and I want to hammer these out and do a good job. And again, I think it's just another thing. Obviously, local company. I've been really pushing to try to get some more local work. Just so that when I'm home, I can kind of stay home.
Yeah.
And when I get on the road, it just kind of goes in spurts where I'm not trying to, live that life in a sense of being away all the time.
Yeah.
So, and there's obviously opportunities arise and things, but like if I can go for a week or I can go for 3-4 days or something, like that's not a big deal.
No.
But you see these freelance guys where they're literally like they're never home.
No.
And obviously having a family, there's an incentive that I want to be here.
Yeah.
So it's good. Because I know there's a lot of local companies that, could use the help, and I think I can help them out.
Yeah, and I think getting your work out there is opening up a lot of doors because people are starting to see your stuff now. The more local work you do, the better it's going to be.
Yeah, and even like this stuff, the gun stuff. So, Bobby Connor, he's a local guy that started up a gun shop here 3 or 4 years ago. Honestly, kind of similar story to me. Like,
He was in the woods.
worked in the woods his entire life. I mean, even went to college to be a forester and, stepped away from that industry as well because of just the way it was going. And, at one point had one of the bigger businesses in the area, and it just,
Yeah, and he took his passion and created a career.
and is doing really well and does some really cool and badass shit. So he's got, Northwood's Firearms, but he's also got, what is it?
It used to be. I think that's the one that kind of took a crap social media wise.
Yeah, I know.
Used to be Northwood's Firearms. Now it's Northwood's Customs.
So I think that's just like a separate little
Is it?
division. Yeah, so I think he's kind of created a little bit of a niche within that of like custom builds, Cerakoting, and then obviously like just being a distributor of firearms and ammunition and accessories and stuff. So
Yeah, he does gunsmithing and stuff too.
yeah, he does. I mean, it's a one-stop shop
Everything.
for everything, guns and ammo. And I mean, he makes like actually this gun that I have now, he's got to make the ammo because like they literally don't make it
Oh,
anymore,
wow.
or it's like that expensive to purchase open market. So the customer who has it has several other guns that are chambered in that ammo, so that's why he wanted to go that direction. But it's been kind of a finicky build because of that. They've had to really tweak on the gun and really fine tune it. So, but he said it's shooting really, really nice now, and that's kind of just the last link in the puzzle. He wants some really good stuff produced with it, and then send it off to the customer, and but then to be able to utilize that stuff, and then hopefully in turn, I'll have to look. I don't know what like thermal he's got on it, but he's a distributor, which means he's like a licensed realtor for that thermal company, and whatever brand firearm it is, he works with a few different ones, and so to get if he could push that to those companies and then they post it and you know what I mean, tag him and stuff in it, like a couple of them higher end companies could really help him out as well. Just
One collaboration with those would really help him grow.
so, but yeah, other than that, I mean, life has been a little bit more chill lately.
Yeah, that's okay though.
No, I haven't been mad about it. I even told you, I'm like, I just kind of want to stay home and edit.
I know.
So
You haven't had much time to just stay home and edit.
no, and then honestly, like this coming week, I'm actually gonna jump back in the seat of a harvester for a few days.
Ah.
So again, just a local guy, but my reputation that I kind of had within working in the woods. I mean, he knows the kind of quality work and stuff I had, and that I did there. That it's kind of crunch time. Everybody's pushing in the breakup, and up until lately, like if he would have called me a couple months ago, I'd have been like, yeah, I'll help you out like as much as you need because it's really slow for me, and if anything comes up, like I'll let you know. But it's literally like 5 miles from home, so
So
I'll go
nice.
put in some extra hours and help him out and make some extra cash, and not a
That'll be
big
really
deal, so.
helpful.
And a brand new machine, so
That's fun.
yeah. So
That adds to it. At least you're not going to run a little old POS.
so I'll go do that because the extra income can obviously always help, and I don't mind working some extra. So we're gonna do that, and then what? The Dells this coming weekend.
Oh yeah.
Next weekend.
Yeah. So this coming week is Avery's birthday. It's time is flying. So her birthday's on Wednesday, and then after that weekend after, we're gonna take her to the Dells, go to the wilderness. I don't know that we'll ever go anywhere else. That water park is just so nice because there's so many attached, and
Yeah, for indoor, anyways, during the winter, it's probably the place to go.
yeah.
I would love to. You don't really think of it, but I bet it's really, really nice down there in the summer
Oh, I'm sure.
because of all the outdoor options.
I have quite a few clients that say you have to go to the Dells in the summer.
And then I also think of the other outdoor activities that you can do. I mean, there's water literally everywhere. There are lakes, the rivers, the towns to go walk and stuff.
Yeah, it's a really cool downtown. There is one place that I want to try downtown while we're there, which I'm kind of like, do I? But I really think we should. It's called Knuckleheads. It's like a huge amusement park. There's rides and trampoline park and food, and it looks really, really cool for the kids. Big arcade. So I think maybe we could just do that like one night for dinner.
Yeah.
But that'll be fun. Yeah, we've been fishing a little bit.
We're kind of in that, I want to say like that mid-season lull with fishing.
Well,
Of
Game
just,
Fish
like-
is about to end, so I'm kind of. What
yeah.
date is that?
I think it's this weekend. I think is it.
Ugh. Because I just love that.
Which is why everybody leaves.
Yeah, everybody stops fishing.
Well, they just go where you can catch them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
the,
like-
the crew that we've got into this year with fishing. I mean, they're all going up to Manitoba.
Right now, they're on their way there. I don't care what they say. I'm hiding in their suitcase next year. We'll have to make a trip with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the goal with everything we have going and the direction we're going with things is to create the opportunities that we can be able to do those things.
Yeah.
And not even from an affordability standpoint, that just like that we don't have to stress about, you know what I mean, what we're leaving and what we're pushing off, and honestly, like a big goal is to be able to do certain things like that we can travel and collaborate with people and stuff, and make some money off of it.
Sure.
But obviously the caveat is just to go with really fun and enjoyable people and have a good time.
Yeah, good experiences, good resorts, kind of push them.
So we'll get there. I mean, it's slowly coming together and it takes time.
Yeah. This weekend looks pretty decent, again, weather-wise. Saturday, it actually looks really cold. It's like a low of 1, and it's only going to get to a high of 20 on Saturday.
Yeah, it seems honestly kind of crappy out today.
Then
Like I think the winds are pretty bad. And
Sunday's supposed to be really nice. Well, nice again, 38, not much wind. And then I'm off on Monday. I am very happy about that. And Monday looks really nice too. So I am gonna plan to fish on Sunday and Monday. See
I
if we
mean,
can find some
there is a
panfish.
solid. Yeah, I was gonna say there's a solid perch bite.
My mom mentioned wanting to go back out to her lake and try to find the bluegills. I think we should try that late ice and see what we can find.
That's where.
I think we always try that right away in ice season, and maybe we should try that like in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean it'll progressively get better. I mean we'll have over a month yet of ice fishing with the amount of ice that we have. I mean it'll get to a point where it's gonna be walking only again.
I know.
But those are like that late ice where you're back on like 8 inches is that's
Ideal.
when like the crappie bite is great.
Right now, there's still a lot of ice.
So I mean we'll get to that point of trying to do some late ice stuff, but then it's also gonna start getting busy for me. Because I mean I'm gonna go help out Mike a little bit this week, but then I have a shoot Thursday. I have to do that showcase for Andrew and Ashley.
Oh, yeah.
Then we're gonna leave for the Dells, and then I'm probably gonna be driving myself down.
Yeah.
Because then I'm gonna leave early Monday and go meet Mike on the river, I think, and do some perch fishing for a couple days with him.
That'll be fun.
Which is super cool because we use airboats. So that'll be a cool thing to capture and then obviously talk about, because the perch fishing over there is like insane.
Yeah.
And it's very, very different.
Really?
Like, you fish shallow flats, like they're literally fishing in 6 to 8 feet of water.
That's crazy. But even shallower, I've seen like giants coming out of like 3 feet.
For like 16-inch perch.
That's insane.
Like last time he went with Hoyer, he told me, and there's a video out there of it. I want to say this was probably 2 years ago now. It probably wasn't last year because of the way the winter was, so it was probably the year prior. I mean, Hoyer literally fishes for a living, and he caught like his top 3 personal best perch fishing that day.
That's crazy.
Like, they literally had to tell John to like, hey, like we literally have to go. Like, he did not want to quit. So that's a kind of a cool and exciting opportunity. And then Mike texted me too. I think that is in April. He gave me the week to block out for the Mississippi Walleye Tournament.
Oh, good.
So that's coming up, and then everything else that kind of is gonna keep aligning. And I have turkey stuff on the books.
Yes.
For our opener up here, actually. So it'll be some close to home work to chase some turkeys, and we have some tags, and we'll buy some over the counter. But we'll progressively get into talking more about turkeys as fishing, weeds out.
Well, you need to tell Mike that if your wife can ever come catch perch with you.
Yeah, we've actually talked about that kind of stuff.
I'm a little jealous. A little bit jealous.
He's offered at times to do stuff, but it's giving those circumstances with it being a Monday, Tuesday, and then right after the Dells.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, this one won't work, but like in the future, man.
Yeah,
Your wife loves to catch some big fish.
It's going to get to a point where I think we're going to have a pretty big push to probably want to get a nice fishing boat. Because when it comes to the summer, like I went up on Vermilion with him, and he talked about like you could come with, and if we had another boat. You know what I mean?
I want one so bad. You don't have to break my arm.
No, I know that. It's just obviously with what life is right now, when changing careers and a completely different set of financial standards and stuff. Like, it's trying to figure out, how to do those things, and we got, big decisions and stuff to make to, you know, and it's probably when things are good, it's not that we can't afford it.
No, and our boat is pretty much paid off now.
Yeah, to where, like, it's just trying to figure out how to best approach it. And I don't know. I mean, I hate to say it, but like maybe fishing our duck boat or selling our duck boat, I mean, and purchasing a fishing boat is the right approach because I don't like there might be some big decisions and big changes this duck season. And to where you just might have an opportunity where you might have to meet your brother at the boat landing for most of the season.
Yeah.
Because I know you're still going to want to go, and obviously with having Willow and stuff, like,
No, like I will duck hunt. It just if I have to go steal Dad's boat.
we'll figure it out. I mean, my only thought is, I mean, like, this will be paid off, which is great, but then it's like, do we just sell it and put that money into a fishing boat?
I would love that, to be honest, and we could
But
always
then-
get something else.
Yeah, but then it's just, also, it's like, okay, it's paid off. Do you just leverage? I don't know. I don't know. And then, obviously, storage is another issue. But, I don't know. We'll figure it out when the time comes. I mean, open water is probably going to be here sooner than we think anyways, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you can surprise your wife with a fishing boat before spring. That'll be great. Just kidding.
Yeah, don't put pressure on me.
I know you don't like the pressure.
Well, it's just like, it's the decisions because it's,
Everybody would love a nice duck boat. It's okay.
well,
Or, I mean, a fishing boat.
no, but it's just you're giving up one thing to do another. And I know for the both of us, I think when September hits, we would rather be chasing ducks than catching fish.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And for 3 months of the year, we're running a gun in that way to where, like you're saving days and taking time off in the fall. You're not saving days and taking time off to fish. You know what I mean? And I understand now that we have a pretty good network of people, like if we did have one, like we could go down in the bay and stuff, but then it's also like, okay, now we need to spend, like we're not just going to get a little puddle jumper. Like we need to get something that can handle some chop and that can handle the bigger bodies of water because we have those opportunities to go there and fish with some people now. And with the electronics nowadays and stuff, it's like, you're going to want to outfit the boat right. And it's like, do we, and it's not, uncommon, especially if you want to go like a new direction, to be 60-70 grand in a boat really quick nowadays.
I know.
And it's like, okay, great, you can finance them for 15 years. Well,
Yeah. I'm not against finding a really nice used one.
no, I know that. It's just, I don't know. It's such a tough decision because I also know that I'm going to be gone probably a lot, and to where, obviously you can get out on your dad's pontoon and stuff too, but
Ugh.
I don't know.
No, I need to have
I
my
hate
own.
decisions. I would love to be able to be in a position where we can just have one. We can have them both, and we're fine. We're good to go. But
I don't want to rely on my dad or my brother. I need to have my own stuff. I go too much alone to rely on other people.
yeah, well, okay. So I'm talking like duck hunting. Like you're not gonna have the opportunity to just go take your dad's boat, even for that. It'd be okay. Are you guys hunting? And if not, like maybe. But if they are, then it's gonna be you're gonna have to go where they're going with them. So I don't know. And
So Jeremy might be gone for our duck season, is what we're trying to say.
yeah,
Which I can go alone, but not if we get rid of the Prodigy.
no. No, and then honestly, like you could go get yourself a cheap little duck boat, but then it's like, what are the headaches you create? Because for whatever reason, it seems like when you go that route. I mean, even like John this year had issues with his motor, and it's not that it's terrible. I mean, he's got a nice motor and just a cheap old boat. Like it is what it is. But then it's, with duck hunting and having a boat, like to me, arguably motor is probably just as important as the quality of the boat. But even if you had just a nice motor and a cheaper boat, be able to get you places. But then it's what's super nice about us is how we have it outfitted with the lights
Yeah.
and setting up and seeing in the mornings is like
So important.
because we deal with fog a lot, and then a few of the places that we go is like littered with stumps, and it's taking our time and having the lights that we do. So it's like even if we would went with a cheaper option, I'm gonna want to throw all the lights that I can on it,
Yeah.
which means electrical. And when you mix electrical with water and everything that way, and then you're throwing gear in, and a dog's jumping in and out, and
Yeah, I know.
it's just and what's nice with what we got, it's like, yeah, we spent a pretty penny, but it's like it's done right.
Yeah, it is.
Like we've literally had one issue with our boat when it comes to electrical, and it was because honestly it was like the first year having it, but I think it was just kind of that break-in period of like pulling that thing 16 hours home and then running up and down the road and gravel roads and everything
Yeah.
that way, everything rattling loose, that literally just had a jam nut for the main cable, battery cable going to the fuse panel had
Yeah.
come loose, and our lights were flickering, and then they would just turn off and it's like, what the heck's going on? And it
Easy
was,
fix. We just had
yeah,
to figure out what it was.
yeah. Like we've had very, very minimal issues with it, where I just hate to be that person where like every hunt we have to dick with something, or like,
Yeah.
okay, we got to just bring a spotlight with just for, whatever that way, and then getting back after hunt and having to work on something right away.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Not that a
We have
person
some
needs
time.
to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a boat like we did, but just that peace of mind. I mean, even for you to go, I mean, it's super important, and having Avery and everything that way. And yeah, it's obviously aggressive for fishing.
Yeah, it is.
And I know you get annoyed of having that motor and ripping across the lakes and stuff to go fish, but I mean,
5 a.m. and that big thing starts up. Everyone knows where Brittany is.
oh, whatever. They can. I don't really care.
No, I
So,
don't either.
I mean, we're not the only ones in the area that have them and utilize them for fishing too, but
We'll see what happens.
well, yeah. I mean, we obviously have decisions to make, and I don't know. We'll see.
It's okay. Don't stress about it right now.
It's hard not to, you know me.
I know the second something's brought up, you get really stressed. But let's switch to lighthearted. We need to block our schedules the end of June for Strike Force.
Yep, that's another thing on the calendar. So, a lot of things on the horizon.
I think I wore my Dog Freedom shirt today. Strike Force is a dog training weekend. Long story short, our good friends Josh and Whitney, who we've mentioned, own Riverstone Kennels and have Retriever Roadmap. And every year they put together a big training weekend for all the members around the United States, and we get to go and train a bunch of dogs. They have strike teams all over the United States. So if you're in the area and want to train with other people, you can join and see what one is closest to you. But yeah, the end of June is our big Strike Force event, and that's always like one of my favorite weekends of the year.
Yeah, I was thinking about obviously trying to get a bigger Airbnb and just get a decent group of people together to stay, but it sounds like, well, I know I would have loved to have Ben stay, but he's bringing the whole family.
Yeah, that's gonna be
So,
great.
Yes, so
That'll be
just,
so good. It is family
so,
friendly.
yeah, rightfully so for him though. Like he's not on his own, just because it's early. So, he'll probably get up and want to be there early, and if he's got to go back and get the family or something later.
Yeah.
But because of having a couple young kids, and
Yep.
it'd be nice to have that privacy, and obviously there's no pressure for them to have to get out and leave and stuff. They can just chill out if they need to, and but yeah, it's just another, again, like-minded people, cool community.
Yeah.
Lewis coming over from Scotland, like we
Yes.
only literally see him like once a year, but
Love him.
we've gotten close with him and communicate, on social media there, and he's out of Scotland, but that's kind of the bloodlines that, especially specifically Willow,
Yep.
like he owns the stud yet that Willow is from,
Yep.
and Sally is with a new owner now, but was with Josh and Whitney for a while. So,
Yeah.
but then
Yeah,
we have a breeding contract with Willow
Yep.
that not there were tentative thoughts of this March with her when she goes in the heat. But because they have so many litters on the books already during that time frame, that we're gonna push it off till next.
Which I'm fine with.
I think
She
it'll
can
be.
use another year.
Yeah, yeah. She's still got a fair bit of puppy in her.
Yeah.
So she's got some maturing to do, but
We need to get back to training her consistently.
yeah, the weather's
Every
starting
day we needed to be doing something with her. She's
Yeah, she goes stir crazy, and it's that's the hard part. And I don't really like know geographically like where our viewership is, but like people who aren't from Wisconsin probably get to, and I mean, of course, there's 4 season climates in several states that having the opportunity to train all season long is hard to come by in a lot of the states, honestly. But it's specifically up here when we're limited on the places that we can train, but then also permitting what the weather does.
yeah.
And, last winter was a bit of an outlier where we had opportunities in that. And it's not that we have it, we're not professionals by any mean where it's like a must that we have to get out and do something,
Yeah.
to where it's like, it's just, it's 15 below, it's 20 below, it's 5, 6, 10 degrees out there, but it's blowing at 15, 20.
Yeah.
Like today, like it's a hard frost out there and it's pretty windy, and I know it's cold this morning,
Yeah.
and you'd like to, even you, when it's nice out, like get out in the mornings before leaving for work and take at
It's
least
been
get
so cold.
and go for a walk and stuff, and it's just like that's not even an option.
No.
And then by the time it's peak day and the warmest part of the day where you think would be the best time to get out, and obviously runner, we're both gone a lot of
Yeah.
times, or it's been difficult, and people in Wisconsin understand and get it.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, Minnesota, Michigan, like these northern states, I mean, North Dakota is where they're dealing with inclement weather.
Yeah.
There's just not much you can do. So when duck season tapers off, for us in November, depending on what weather is, I mean, we have time to keep running her and stuff, but it's also like a little bit of time to like, okay, you just ran hard for a while, like
You get to rest.
give her time to just be a chill dog, and then all of a sudden you get into winter and it's just like,
Yeah.
obviously try to get her out, and we've taken her out fishing a few times and just get her out of the house. And if I have some shorter days or quick runs and different things, like I don't have a problem bringing her with me too.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to remember that. If we're going somewhere quick, she can always come with.
But weather's starting to change, so we can get her back. I mean, I've gotten her out a few times lately, and she's done really good.
Good.
She's just itching. She just goes stir crazy, and she's a dog that just needs to do stuff.
Oh, yeah.
She thrives off that stimulation and that work, and
Yeah.
that's all she knows.
Yeah. I mean, literally. She's been...
But I know, like, you kind of took offense to it the other day, but like you left with Diz and she was home by herself, and she's just a completely different dog. That off switch that off switch is just there, like just instantly.
Why?
She just lays down and she's just chill, and she'll just come up to me and just look at me.
It makes literally no sense to me because Dizzy is a chill dog. Dizzy isn't amping her up.
It's the competition. It's Diz thrives and has a desire for just as much attention as Willow does. Dizzy used to be just as aggressive of better pet me, you better touch me as Willow is now.
Yeah.
I mean, we worked hard with Diz where she would come up on you and claw the shit out of you because you weren't paying attention to her.
Yeah, constant paw in your face.
Yeah. And she's kind of tapered off, but look at how old she is.
Yeah.
And
now she just comes in and lays down. So I'm like, how does that have an effect on Willow?
it's because she's laying at our feet and Willow's not.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? You're paying attention to Dizzy and not to Willow, and it's just like that. She's trying to have an understanding there, and they literally just hang out all day long.
Yeah.
And now we're forcing them apart.
Yeah.
That's another thing to consider, and I don't know. It's just and you can just see in that mental maturity a little bit with Willow of, and then when they're outside and stuff, they're roughhousing and playing.
Nonstop, yeah.
And then there's a lot of times we leave them in the entryway and it's like, okay, let's bring them into the house and let them chill out and just be with us. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe they need to go outside for a while first and get that out of them.
Yeah.
And maybe she'd come in and lay down.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's an evolution, and we'll see, because obviously we're not going to have Diz forever. And it's going to be weird only having Willow. And I know in the future we have plans to probably get another one, out of one of her litters. I'd love to, I think, have a male, but we'll see. But then again, she'll be probably at that, 7 mark.
Mm-hmm.
That it would, I think she'll be a drastically different dog by then.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I think if she does have a couple years being alone, and who knows what having a litter does with her.
Oh, yeah, it might chill her out completely.
I mean, it, like, completely changed Izzy.
Oh, yeah.
She was just like Willow. Like, I want you to remember
I
that.
don't very well.
When, prior to her having, like, she was a little shit.
Yeah, she was.
I mean, the reason we had a litter of puppies is because she would chew herself off of a leash and
Yeah.
run away. How many times did she run away?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, she was.
she always hasn't been this.
She's tore up flooring in my mom's house.
She still gets
Malicious like
yeah.
that. Yeah. Speaking of strike force and stuff, Whitney texted me. I forgot to tell you this, and wants me to come over there the weekend after the Dells because it's her birthday.
Okay.
So I might leave.
Okay.
I don't know if you have anything on the books, but that is Whitney's only free weekend ever.
Yeah.
She's like, this is it.
She's
And then puppies.
I think I thought there was a deer that just ran by the window.
And puppies are dropping the weekend after, and she's like, after that, I
She's
am
got
not.
puppies on the ground right now, doesn't she? No.
I don't think so. No, she's just
They're
got
bred.
pregnant. Yep.
I just
She's
saw
got
she
pregnant
posted. Okay,
ones.
she just posted something, and I remember her being covered in hair, and I thought she was monkeying with puppies or something. But yeah, I know. Yeah, it's now.
So if there's one weekend that I need to get over there, I should probably do that. I haven't been over there in a really long time. Being her birthday, we can get together and go to dinner or something. But I feel like I should really do that because I said I'm not waiting to see her face until Strike Force.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't seen Jamie and Whitney in quite a while. And I'm sure Jamie will be around, obviously, then.
Yeah.
You're going to go over and whatever you guys decide to do. No, that's fine. I got Monday, Tuesday with Mike, I think, to buy the sounds of it. And then it's just going to be come back. And I'm obviously going to have that house that I'll have to put together for Andrew and Ashley. And then I'm sure with whatever I do with Mike, he's going to want me to do some stuff too. So it's just going to be editing.
Okay.
Which is great and fine.
Yeah.
The only bummer with the stuff with Mike is I can't use it.
That sucks.
I forgot about that. But
You can't showcase any of it? Is that what you're just saying?
I need to talk to him when I'm putting edits together and stuff for him. Oh, it's Mark and Sully. But I don't think that's what I saw over there. Maybe. That when I put stuff together, I mean, when I look back, I guess he's been okay with it. He collaborates. But he always takes my business, and my business page isn't really, like, booming. So
No.
I guess I can, like, share it to my business story and then tag myself in it, and then be able to share it to at least my personal story. So I mean, he doesn't have a problem there. I could probably maybe have a conversation with him and make him, like, tag my personal.
Yeah, just
Do something.
well, and
Yeah, well, both is fine. Whatever. I ain't worried about it. As long as I get some recognition out of it, because I've, like, been with some really cool people, but done some really cool things with them, and it'd be cool to be able to showcase,
Yeah.
that I'm doing that kind of stuff too.
oh yeah,
And I don't have, I understand where he's at on it, of, like, he's paying me to do the work for him, and in the direction he's going with his business and stuff, and really trying to build his website and his clientele base and whatever, that way that be able to utilize that stuff, and I'm not just throwing it all over the place. I mean, I get it. So it's not a problem as long as when I do put some stuff together that, I get the recognition on it is
yeah.
great.
You need to. Yeah.
So
That's important. To at least give you the credit.
and he's normally great about it, but
Good.
I don't know. I feel like I've been itching to. We kind of talked. We kind of touched on it when we started, of just, like, having some things that we want to kind of, like, bullet point kind of talk about going into some of these. And we had the opportunity this week with the podcast that we did to just get personable, and I feel like honestly our probably most raved about podcast was when you got really personable.
I know.
And I feel like we should try to include or add elements to that. And I know it's not going to be all the time, but we have opportunities to where like we've kind of like people who just want to see what we're up to and just kind of listen into a conversation, and that is
Yeah.
like great for like what we've been talking about for the last 15 minutes here is kind of what we've been up to, but we really haven't been up to a lot. So now like this whole conversation's kind of been just spitting and sputtering through, and I feel like in order to keep people engaged nowadays, it'd be nice to I don't know. And I think it's going to be an evolution of what we're going to do with this and try to figure it out. But we have them, I've thought about it in the past, like we have those cards with
Oh my
questions
gosh, yeah.
of just like pulling a card every episode.
Not the dirty ones.
No, we'll make sure we weed out the explicit ones. But we have like these conversation, like
Starters
and
basically.
stuff. And some of them prompt really good conversations. And
Yeah.
it'd be maybe a cool little element to like pull those out and like pull a card, and we can just free flow in a conversation of like basically somebody else asking us a question.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I feel like we really should, and we could maybe end this one until our child starts screaming, I'm sure. I don't know, I feel like I talk a lot in these.
Yes.
That, I don't know, for you to just, we need to do obviously like a Brittany show and a Jeremy show and allow people to get to know us even more.
Yeah.
Because I feel like just jumping, even the way we jumped into this, it was like, hey, new year, new us, new things. Like, you know what I mean? We really didn't, like my story, people kind of know that I worked in the woods, and obviously they know what I do now, but like, why the drastic change?
Yeah.
And even you, like, they just see your lash tech. Mm-hmm. But they don't understand that that was something, that's only been about 3 years of your life now.
Yeah.
To, like, obviously we started to get personable of you not wanting to have kids. Mm-hmm. To, obviously, now we have Avery.
And wanting to have more. Right?
Well,
Right?
it's not really my decision.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I feel like you're always like, I think I'm good. And, yeah.
So I know that you've always wanted more
it's
kids,
that time
but
of the month where you're really like wanting more kids.
I know you want more kids, and lately, I was trying to think of like the term, but I've been having like mommy feelings lately, like wanting to be a mom again, wanting to get pregnant again. And so yeah, I don't know when that's gonna happen, but I am 31, and I don't think we should wait until I'm like 35. Like, let's,
I would love, I mean,
we gotta think a year in advance.
yeah, and a lot has changed in the last year, and I feel like I need a little bit more time to feel comfortable to welcome another child into our lives.
I know.
Just financially for one, but then to also just feel like I can be here.
Yeah.
And honestly, you're going to have to put some thought into planning that out, of knowing it's going to be somewhat of a slower period that I am here. Mm-hmm. See? Who's the little shit?
Dizzy barking.
Mm-hmm. To where, like, it'd be probably a little bit more difficult, but, like, having a child, like, moving into Christmas kind of a thing. Like, honestly, almost shoot for, like, that Christmas baby, because for December, January, we're February, we're almost March, like, it's been slow for me, and I think that's going to be kind of a general consensus when considering what I'm into.
Yeah.
To where, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I have some duck hunting stuff, like, in the lower states, but it might be, like, run down for a week and come back. Or, like, real estate stuff, like, with Mike is going to be slow, and I think naturally through the course of the winter, like, it's probably going to be the general consensus.
Yeah.
You know, but, and then to also feel like we kind of know what our life is going to be looking ahead with another child.
Yeah.
Because it's not that we're not capable, but given our living situation right now, we just don't have the abundance amount of room, you know, and it'd be hard to throw a newborn in, obviously, the same room with Avery.
Yeah.
You know, but then again,
The newborn would be in our room for a while.
to start, of course, you know, like we just kind of talked about where, you know, I have a goal of having my own studio space one day.
Yeah.
And hopefully sooner than later, because it does at times, like that creative block for me can get difficult of just going downstairs and working at home.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing when you leave the house, you're so much more productive.
Yeah.
And if I like went to work, you know what I mean? And it obviously the other big thing is like to separate home from work,
Yeah.
because you see that, especially lately when I'm busy, you know, and it's just urgent to get stuff done, and I'm still doing things at 7:30 at night.
I know.
And I know you get frustrated with it. But I mean, obviously there's conversations to be had, and I think for the both of us, the best approach to do is honestly like focus on health
Yeah.
and getting ourselves back to where we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's been a huge part of my life, but something that's kind of fallen off
Yeah.
again, and trying to find and devote that time to it. And,
Yeah, same.
you know, eating right and getting into the gym and stuff. And it's so much easier when it's warm out. But it's also like I kick myself in the ass every year, because it's like, okay, now it's warm out and I want to go to the beach and do that kind of stuff. And then you get to like that ambition of like, yeah, I'm going to take my shirt off and I probably look kind of shitty right now. And it's like, well, you should have been doing it all winter long and you
Yeah.
wouldn't feel that bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, you know, to probably, I don't know. I think that made the process, looking back, especially for you, and I know we touched up on it, so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah, I was really healthy.
I think if we focus on that, then, I mean, a year of grinding on yourself that way, like, can do wonders. And, you know, I mean, literally, we didn't struggle getting pregnant,
No, knock on wood.
you know, and I think to me, you equate a lot, I think, to it, to that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get there, and life's kind of crazy and all over the place, and trying to figure out, you know.
Yeah. But there's people that are screaming, there's never a perfect time. If you want one, do it.
No,
But-
I understand
But yes,
it, and
I understand both sides.
we could make it work. Like we really
I was
could.
gonna say, you want a Christmas baby? Let's go. Right now, I think is the time.
I mean, like, truly, we could make it work. But are you going to be comfortable again, you know, because that was the struggle of what we went through, of me really quick being self-employed. Like, there was no PTO, there was no maternity leave for me. And I took, like, that first week off when we got home, but other than that, it was right back to work.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit of easing into it in some shorter days, but then, like, all of a sudden I'm like, it's hitting me of like, Jeremy, you have another life at home to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
So work.
Yeah.
You know, and it was hard. And then when you had to resume work, you know, it was even more difficult. But so sure, it'd be a little bit different now. I feel like I'm stressing a lot this episode.
Yes, you are. It's okay. We're just talking.
No, I know.
No pressure.
Yeah, it's just trying to keep, for me now, like, if you have that feeling, it's just trying to be secure with that, I think, for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like you so easily go back and forth. You're like, nope, I'm done. Nope, I'm done.
I feel like lately it's not been that.
Okay.
Lately, as in like probably 6 months, I've been really feeling like, no, Avery gets a sibling and I have all the feelings to do it again, and I loved being pregnant, and I have a lot of close friends that are pregnant right now that are absolutely loving their journey. So it's Cassie, my lash tech, and Ellie.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yep.
So just hearing all of their, all their stories and how excited they are, and I just remember it all so well. I loved it so much that it is something I want to do at least one more time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's that little selfish side to most guys, like they want their little boy.
You know.
And for me, there's a little bit of sentimental value to having that desire to have a boy.
For your name?
Yeah, I mean, obviously losing dad, and then, Jaden's got Brielle, but then with Justin having the tenacious name, that, you know, if there's no boys from here on out, like the Strew name,
Yeah.
kind of fades away. Mm-hmm. So it'd be, you know, kind of cool, obviously, from that point. And not that it really matters, but
I was going to say, besides, carrying the name on, I mean, you do have a little boy that's sleeping downstairs for the most part.
yeah, until she's 13.
Oh, I know. Don't talk like that. She's going to be traveling the world fishing and hunting with us. It'll be fine.
Yeah, hopefully.
That'd
Yeah.
be sweet.
But I'll have to show you that. It just made me laugh. I saw a clip of Andrew Schultz's new comedy special coming out, and he just became a dad, and like his whole special is about becoming a dad and the whole process and he's a girl dad, and he put a clip out there that was like so funny of, speaking of the devil, of why like inevitably everything is dad's fault.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes
I heard
to
you listening to that.
when it's a girl.
It's funny.
But she heard us talking about her.
Yep. Her ears were ringing.
So yeah, I think, I don't know.
All in good time, babe.
Yes.
Everything we've talked about that stressed you out in this podcast, all in good time.
Yeah, I mean, we're trending in a good direction.
Yeah,
With it all.
we are. Mm-hmm.
And do you just want to yell to her that, like, hey, we'll be down in a second? So she just stops yelling.
Sure. Good morning, Avery.
Honestly, I'm not mad about it.
No, me either.
I think she thinks it's cool and likes to do her own little podcast. So maybe she can just get in the mood again of welcoming herself up every now and then, and she could just kind of walk up and see what we're doing. And
Yeah,
but yeah, we're making steady progress,
we are.
and it's obviously takes time, and I think that's a thing that a lot of people don't understand, that they expect things to happen so quick.
Yeah.
In today's world, like, there's just urgency within everything, and you just expect, like, snap your fingers, it's going to be there. And I think there's that element of not necessarily appreciating, the consistency and the hard work and
The journey.
the dedication and the determination to achieve those goals. And, there's typically a defining factor of people who don't achieve goals, and the ones that do is they just don't quit.
Yeah. What is that saying? Like, the difference between someone who succeeded is, what is that? Like, they failed so many times but kept going.
Yeah. I mean, gonna keep failing. I mean, that's just a part of it, and we touched upon that, I think, at some point of, like, that's just, to me, like, failures are just a learning point.
Yeah, you have to see how you're progressing and how you're learning through that failure. You have to take something away from it. But a lot can happen in a year. A lot can happen in 6 months. A lot can happen in 5 years. Like, we're just going to keep doing what we love, and we'll see what happens.
I honestly had that, like, I don't know if I want to call it deja vu, but like that moment of clarity with that not that long ago, of like looking back when I was talking, it might have been doing that podcast earlier this week, of looking back at like my journey through logging, of realizing where I was starting out at, literally 21 yet when I got my machine. It was like a month before, 2 months before my 22nd birthday. But then looking at where I was at 26, 27.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was pushing peak. That, 25, 26, so like 4 or 5 years into it. And,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I had, signed the dotted line to purchase a log truck, and looking at hiring more employees and the whole thing. And then it kind of just, everything happens for a reason, but it didn't work out then. And, it just trended in that direction. And, I guess, God's got a weird way of sometimes telling you that something's not right for you.
Yeah.
And I think it's up to you to understand that and to kind of
To
see
trust
that.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Trust is a big word, obviously, there with that.
Look at that fortune cookie I got yesterday.
Mm,
Not every opportunity presented to you should be taken.
yeah, something like
Something like that.
that. Mm-hmm.
So, maybe it obviously wasn't meant to be for you to buy a log truck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It obviously wasn't meant to be for me to stay with the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so many things that changed that were really, really difficult in the moment, but
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I saw it not that long ago, and it probably would hit home for a lot of people is everybody, like, nowadays, like, when your days are numbered and you're kind of coming to the end of life, everybody wants to all of a sudden lean into their faith and trust that God's taken them to where they need to be. But they don't want to trust God to take them where they're supposed to be throughout life.
I know.
They wait till the very last moment.
Yep.
And I think there's an element of that faith of, like if you all of a sudden want to find your faith, at the very end, and out of fear and out of, because you're scared and like what's next after life and is there more, is there not? And, hopefully he's taking you to where you need to be, but it's also like if why not start now?
Yeah.
Why not find that trust and have that faith now, because it'll be so much more easier and you'll be so much more secured then.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, let him guide you through every step of life, not just the end.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you kind of see that with the people who do go out peacefully, that they're
Oh, yeah.
generally pretty faithful.
And really excited to go.
Yeah, which is strange, but
Well, I think that's just because they have so much faith their entire lives.
hmm
They know what they're going to. They know
hmm
what's coming, and
yeah, and I don't know.
I've seen a lot of close people pass that have been excited,
Mhm.
literally excitement to go meet him, and
Yeah, but they've also lived a life.
yeah,
I think they've wanted to live, and they were kind of at that stage, to where
yeah,
like,
there was really no regret.
I feel like, like when I consider Dad, I feel like he was at peace in a sense, but I also know that he had so much more life to live, and he was leaving so much behind.
Yeah,
I think that was the hard thing, and I think that's what
Yeah.
really hit him the most.
yep,
So,
it did.
but those are interesting conversations, and I think more
I-
that we should dive into. And
Yeah, let's start a shared note in our phones, and we'll just kind of add to it, and
yeah, I
there can
think
be some talking points and things we want to retouch on, because I do want to talk about your dad. I don't want to cut you off on that, but
no, because
definitely
it's
another
gonna,
episode.
yeah, it's gonna be a hard conversation to navigate.
Yeah, and it's not a short one, so
No, no, definitely not. But I mean, just the little things of really. She's sick of us now.
morning groans. Okay, we're talking too much.
But yeah, I really want to take time and opportunities that, and like maybe next episode, I mean, we'll have a little bit to recap, I guess, what we do this weekend, but to kind of dive into you and to dive into me and like what makes you tick and what makes me tick and kind of just your path through what life was and what life is. And, there's, there's obviously good and bad and there's the whole thing, but I don't know. I think to continue to be more personable.
There's a lot to learn about us.
Because you do get that comment and compliment a lot of, like, thanks for being so raw and real all the time and genuine and that. And there's an element to do that.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not the only one that shares a similar story.
Mm-mm.
And even like the podcast I did, like Rick, the host there, like he lost his dad when he was in his mother's belly.
Oh,
He tragically passed away. And you know what I mean? So like there's
there's a lot of people that can relate. We're not alone, and I think we'll find peace with that. That like we are not the only ones that have struggled in certain areas of life, and yeah, I mean, I just want to say not to cut you off, but like, thank you to everyone that's reaching out and telling me how much you love the podcast and how it's, you enjoy hearing all the things. I have so many people that aren't really into hunting and fishing, but they just enjoy listening to our conversation. So that's been really great. But yeah, a lot of the, keep being you comments, I really appreciate it because just being me, doing what we love.
Yeah, and that's even an interesting topic that we can talk about because that's something that you struggled with too for a while.
A long time. I still do. There's still the demons in the head, but for the most part, yeah, just really trying to let people know that, like, even though I do really cool shit, my life isn't perfect.
No,
Because there's so many people that like, oh, she lives such a perfect life. She gets to hunt and fish all the time and travel and all the things. But I mean, everyone has demons and everyone struggled and had issues in the past and done bad shit and been a bad person at times. And I don't, for a long time, I just wanted to protect my image. Like, no one can know that Brittany was not the best person at one point of her life. Like, nobody can understand. I don't want anyone to know. It was hidden so much. And I think the more that I do this and the more support that we receive, the more open we are to, like, really being raw and continuing to be authentic. And like I talked about it in our podcast with She Goes Beyond the Eight, like, just how rough our marriage was at one point and how we need to give ourselves a lot of credit for pulling each other out and doing what's best for us and what's best for Avery and our futures and our lives. And so, yeah, there's a lot that we can talk about. I could keep going, but we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Got a little cutie staring at me.
No, I think we'll try to be maybe a little bit more organized, and we can maybe break this into like segments in a sense. Like the first like 15, 20 minutes we can kind of recap, unless if we had something really exciting, obviously.
Yeah.
And some cool experiences and stuff that we
Yeah,
can share.
maybe the audience would like that, like a quick recap and then have a topic or topics that we're going to talk about. And then something we're looking forward to or,
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously just that constant evolution, and we've talked about that of just trying to, we're not scripted by any means, but
Clearly.
we've trying to figure out, how to navigate these conversations and the direction and stuff. We kind of just let it flow, but maybe having a little bit more organization to it. And I think there is when we come back with that eagerness to want to like tell people what we just did.
Oh, sure.
What we've been up to and the cool projects I've been doing and stuff. But we're also then appealing to such a niche community. Like when I talk about what I'm doing and like the work I just did, it's like, okay, I'm talking to like people who love cameras.
Yeah.
It's like how many are really out there that do.
Yeah. Especially followers. I mean, you probably have 3 or 4 that are really wanting to hear what you're up to from your photography buddies.
Like, okay, on the other hand, like who really cares? Like we're just having a conversation, and we don't,
sure.
we're not trying to appeal to everyone and anybody, but like, I don't know. I do know that we're not that we're missing. I think we're just prolonging some opportunities of some conversations that I know that we do want to have, and
Yeah.
we'll get there. And just to kind of keep people like prepared and ready, not really prepared, but just to know that, we do see the reviews and the comments and stuff of, when we do get personable, how people can appreciate that.
Yeah, and connect. And that's when the messages flow, is when we get really raw and real and people can say like, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing. I get a lot of that too. Yeah,
and it's a tricky, not necessarily tricky, but it's almost like a scary conversation to navigate because neither of us have never really been the people to put ourselves out there. And like I know it's also like something that we're leaning into of wanting to grow our pages and do that kind of stuff. So, it comes with the territory. But I mean, like for me, like social media wise, like I've never put any effort into it in like the last year.
No.
Like barely the last year. And so to realize where I was to where I am. So,
all right.
She's getting really impatient. So,
all right.
But yeah, on that note, just people stay tuned and be ready. I think we're gonna
be patient.
We'll have some really good conversations, and then the exciting thing is when we feel like we get sick of talking about ourselves, we're going to have people on.
Yeah, we have some really, really cool guests. I'm really excited.
All walks of life, and,
Yep.
hunting buddies, fishing buddies, camera buddies, just buddies.
So many people.
Some businesses and brands and different things that way. And, we've been telling people that we have definite plans to do that and to be patient.
Yep.
And when we're ready, we will let you know.
Yeah.
But I think it was important to kind of, I don't know, it's our podcast.
Oh,
And
I know.
think the people who want to be on, deserve the right to get to know us first. And, hopefully they've listened along and followed along a little bit at least. And
Yeah.
so, but, yeah, I don't know. Maybe next time we can kind of just dive deep into you. You can have your episode.
Oh boy. Okay.
And then I can kind of have, one, and we can, if we need to break certain aspects or topics out and just kind of, we have some, like you said, it'd be cool to, have those conversations.
Yeah.
Life's not always easy and perfect, and that's something that everybody can understand and align with. And I think there's elements to, I think if we can have some of those conversations, that it'll free up conversations with other people and,
Yeah.
being relatable. So
Definitely.
good.
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 All right.
Alrighty.
Until next time. Like, share, comment, subscribe.
Do all the things and
All the things. All the things is going to come soon. I've been
Yes.
thinking about that a lot lately.
yes. And
It just got brought back up again.
Yeah. And we're building some cool connections. I think of somebody that could help us out with that.
Wonder who that might be. Okay. Stay tuned.
All right.
All right.
you.
Love you.